Happy Sunday, everybody. It's been a while. Came to work today and got some stuff done on Aubrey's truck, the 79K20, but look at that mess. Thought we'd start the video with something right. We just picked this up on Friday, 76 C10. It's been sitting, I would say probably at least 40 years. Probably 10 to 15, maybe even 20 in a salvage yard. This is one we got from Silas down in Hutchinson. We traded him 54 grain chuck for. But you can see where the little guy was sleeping right here. But a lot of people ask, that's too good of a truck, or say that's too good of a truck, you should fix it up. Man, I don't know how the starter got there, but there it is, and it's been there a while. You can see the little hole where he goes in and out. Air cleaner flipped upside down, because that's what you did, right? Well, with that thing upside down and all of this in here, I would bet you a crisp $100 bill that that motor is locked up. 350 transmission, has cruise control, AC, heavy duty brakes. You can tell by the size of the booster. But this is one of the worst ones we've had. We've had them to where you can't even see the air cleaner, and it's actually all the way over here. But this is one of the worst ones. And the thing about that is this is so packed in there. You know, this is a pack rat that got in there. That's, you know, if it was a raccoon, most likely it'd be bigger. But you can tell with the poop and stuff, this is a raccoon, or this is a pack rat. Just making his little home. The hood's been shut all these years. Speaking of the hood, it is not bent, but unfortunately, it is rusty. But we're gonna save it because it would work for something. Not being bent is a huge part of it, you know. Once they're bent right there, then we pretty much just throw them away. But so what I'm gonna do is, there's no way I'm gonna clean all that out. I've done it before. It's, you know, you're breathing that stuff even if you have a mask on. It's just a mess. And plus, their urine is so corrosive. You know, here in Kansas, we get a lot of this, and especially ones that you pull out of the fields and whatnot, and it just ruins them, unfortunately. So what we'll do is I'll take the trim off, because the trim's still fairly decent, and then we'll just take a Sawzall and we'll just cut the front fenders off, because they're junk anyway, and then it'll let everything. I'll have to take the grill out and take the two radiator sport bolts out, cut all the lines, and then that way it can just fall, you know, once we get it on the ground, and then all this stuff will come out. But I got the steering column sold, so I've got to get in there. Usually I sell it with the shafts, but I got plenty of extra shafts, so I'll just take it off right there, and with the fenders off or cut, I'll be able to get in there a little bit better. But you know, the washer bottle's savable, little things like that. But you know, that wiper motor will pull, because they don't reproduce those. But unfortunately, this one just, we'll step back from it so everybody can see it. But it was a well-equipped truck, Silverado. Very surprised it doesn't have the chrome, the V22. In fact, it's not even on the option on the SPID label, which is still in there. But you can see how long this has been sitting by these tires. Still got two of the original hubcaps. Came from Haven, Kansas. Shep Kretz Chevrolet. Has some good emblems on it. So we'll just take our wheel and cut those. Sport mirrors, which those are savable. And unfortunately, the doors aren't all rusted out, and they were actually probably pretty good. But being in the salvage yard, it just got shoved and pushed. And then with all of the, so you can see, if there was smell, I wish everybody could smell this. It's no bueno. But you can see Chevrolet, 2-wheel drive, L350, so it's not a heavy half or anything. It's just a half ton, 2-wheel drive, 676, and J is the plant it was built at, 6 of 76, which is the month and year I was born. So we got something in common. Those are really nice door panels. So this thing obviously sat in some trees where the sun couldn't get to it, because you can see how nice that, look at that. These are really hard to find nice. You know, the 74, 5, 6, 7, I'll use wood grain, and it was all a little different on the wood grain part of it. But 77 especially. 77 had completely different door panels, doors. They had full-size doors, door panels. So if a lot of people ask what the difference is, here's your difference. So in 77, which was the first year for power windows in these trucks, the door panels actually came out and came around, and then they had the door carpet if they were a Silverado or a CR Classic in GMC. But tilt column, I told you that's sold. Still has the factory AM radio in it, and it shows, what's it show there? 80,000 miles. And by the looks of the steering wheel, which is sticky, and the brake pedal, I would venture to say that is original. With the way the interior looks, you know, somebody at one time really loved this truck. Those seat belts are pretty sought after. So we will strip this interior out. But the door panels, the instrument cluster bezel, and this dash trim piece are all sold. They are actually going to the guys up at Roadster Shop up in Illinois. They had reached out to me here a month or two ago, and we're looking for some parts. And once we get stuff in like this, I give them a call, and they say, yep, we'll take it, or no, we won't. And they're gonna take it. So anyway, headliner's still in it, just droopy. But a lot of people say, man, you should get this thing going. And we'll bring them back from the dead and driving. But this one, these things are dime a dozen. It's nothing special. It's worth more in parts than it is putting a bunch of time and money into it and only getting, you know, $2,500, $3,000 out of it, if you can even get that with how rusty it is. Cab supports are gone. All the windows on this topper are broke out. And don't know if somebody was living in it or what, working out of it, but it's too bad on the bed, since this is a 73 to 78, and you can tell that by the round hole. 79 was the first year for the square doors. 78 was the last year of the round hole, and this is a dual tank truck. So this bed, if it was in a lot better condition, would be worth quite a bit of money to somebody. But it's rusted, it's beat up, it's not getting pulled by me anyway. So what we'll do is strip everything we can that's savable, and then it'll go to the crusher. So, and remember, I didn't put it in this condition. We'll help others save on. I will probably go ahead and pull these doors. This is a pretty good dent. However, if you put a basketball in here, you can get a lot of that out. You know, basketball inside the door, and a good body man would work that door, and then you'd have an original door. So, especially with the wing windows and the door glass, you know, wing windows aren't horrible. They can be rebuilt. So just little things like that. Check out those rear tires. G78 15s. The old mudders. But tailgate's good-ish. I mean, it's better than most. And this would actually clean up really, really nice, and it doesn't look like there's any dents in it. So we'll pull the tailgate off. A little bit of this side. This door, unfortunately, got a little something, but once again, it can be saved. A little crusty, but you know, somebody can probably use it. Look at that mess. I'm telling you, I wish you guys could smell this, and gals. But there's the Spid for all you option nerds among the mess in the glove box. But look how nice those door panels are. They're usually all flaking up here. And 75, 76, you know, 73.4 had just a black. 75, 76 had the scroll, which is pretty darn cool. So you can see it's you know, that hood's pretty straight. We'll pull all the trim off because it can always be used for something. But that's the 76 C10. And we're actually restoring a Spirit of 76. That's at getting the bed done, and we had to get a different hood for it. So hopefully we have it back in a couple months, and we'll go over that one. If you watch our past videos, you'll see that truck. So this is going to be a little bit longer video just because we haven't done one for a while. We're going to go over some trucks that we have and what's going on in the shop, stuff like that. Please like, share, subscribe, show your friends, give us a thumbs up, comment, all that. I'm not as regular with this just because I've been putting my nose to the grindstone. We've been going and getting trucks, and we've been just working on trying to get a lot of stuff done, plus family and all that. This one, if anybody follows us on Facebook and our Instagram, this is a 51 3100 short bed that we saved. I actually sold a gentleman, it was actually a truck this color, but it was a 4-wheel drive. He was putting his 2-wheel drive on the 4-wheel drive chassis, and he had this one sitting there among some other ones. And his dad actually drove this up until the time they parked it in 1973, which it was probably all one color in 1973. But it still had the original wheels on it, and the tires obviously were, they held air because they were tube tires. But this one didn't have a tire on it. That's right, this one did not have a tire on it. So I had a set of these 6-lug Steelies sitting around, and threw those on it so it'd roll a little bit easier. The bed was full of crap. Got it all cleaned out. You can see all the wood's pretty much gone. Cool bumper back in the day. You just made something to work. I'll show you that tag here in a minute. But this is a really cool truck. I couldn't get the hood open. I finally got it open the other day. And it didn't look as bad as the truck I just showed you, the one behind me, the 76. But it wasn't far off. You can still see there's a little bit of stuff down there. This was all full. And this right here, you can see where it was. So we washed all of that out, got all that cleaned out. It's a 216. I checked the dipstick, and it's dry and rusty, so for sure this thing's stuck. But there's your original green, which to my understanding, these trucks were all green unless you wanted to pay extra for a different color. So and then I saw some other stuff where the northern trucks were green and the southern trucks were a blue. Maybe somebody can confirm that. But I love learning about trucks, cars, whatever it is, because a lot of times we get stuff like this in and I want to be able to know about it. But the belt was gone. Either it was chewed off or something. The gentleman we got it from, he thought that the water pump was out of it or something. He couldn't remember. And if I'm looking, it does look like there's a couple bolts missing. So maybe they were going to replace the water pump, and who knows. But just a really good, complete truck. Pretty cool. I'll show you the inside here. Kind of walk back here. It has hit a couple things, but I mean, it is a short bed, advanced design truck. I lubed all that up so it'd work a little bit better. This interior was also, you know, you can still see there's some dirt in there. I can't get that door open without taking that panel off, and I'm just not going to do that until I decide what I'm going to do with this truck. But it was just full of junk, so I kind of cleaned it all out and threw it away. But just a farm truck that's just been parked and sitting for, actually I'll show you, 1973 was the last time this thing was tagged, which I was 3 years away from even being born. So like I said, I think this thing's probably was mostly green when it was parked. I do have a Kansas title for it. It's a 1967 title, so they bought this thing in 1967 and only drove it, you know, for just a few years, 6 years. But even in 1967, this was considered an old truck. You know, think how many body styles in 1967 from 51 that it went through, you know, 2 or 3. So, but do have the mirror. It's somewhere in the shop, I believe. But this door looks like at one time it came back and they tried to repair it a little bit, but overall, that's a really cool truck. Wouldn't take nothing to put it on an S10 chassis. Either put a 261 or a 235 in it, or a 350 and a 700 R4 and have a nice cruiser. And then we've got this one, 84 GMC. I just had it running actually. It's posted for sale for $22.50. It's got a bad spot in the flex plate. It'll stop, you know, it'll just spin. Teeth, I'm sure, but if you rotate the engine, it'll fire right up. Like I said, I just had it running. But it's not a bad truck. It's got its little rust issues, but for $2,250, 4-wheel drive, square body, I mean, that's an interior that's not horrible. It's a 305 with a 350 transmission. It does come with an extra front bumper, a gas tank because the one in it has been leaking some fuel. And for the full price, I'll give you a couple fenders that are decent. They're not the same color, but they're at least not all dented up. So if that one doesn't sell, I might just lift it, put a good motor in it. Well, it has a good motor, but I mean like a 350. Use it as my shop truck. We'll see. Oh, and I've been looking for an enclosed trailer. We finally got one. Bought it on Saturday from a pretty cool guy. We've been going back and forth on the price of it, and I was finally able to get it, but it's what I wanted. It's a 24-footer, so we can put a lot of the nice stuff in when we're going to go to some big truck shows this next year. It's got the escape door on the other side, which is what I was looking for. I could find them all day long without the escape door, but when you're putting a truck in there, you really need to have something you can crawl out of and get out. This is called a Rock Solid. That's the brand. 5,200 pound axles. And one thing that really, not only the escape door, but it's got LEDs, especially on the overhang, so you load at night. And it's wired for AC unit. But this will also work for when I take my boy to ride at the motocross tracks. It'll be a dual purpose for us. And I'll get it logoed up and all that, but it looks pretty filthy in this picture. Need to wash it. But been looking for quite a while and I just finally pulled the trigger on it. Got it for a pretty good price. It's a 2022. I'm pretty happy and grateful that that we were able to finally get one, especially since it'll match the truck. All right, so what's going on in the shop? You're following along this far? Let's just show you. So that's the rear end, the 12 bolt out of the 72 C10 two-wheel drive of Gerald's. My buddy Chase, who actually owns this Blazer right here, is doing the framework for that truck, and I'm putting this together. So we're just swapping labor out, helping each other out. He's C-notching it and putting the cross members in it, and coilovers on the front end, all that good stuff. We've got a 6-liter and a foil ADE kind of back over here that's going in that truck. And I'm going to rebuild this rear end. Get it moved, flipped around, get the control arms off of it and everything, get it all torn apart, paint it up, and start putting it back together. It's a 373, so we're just going to use this 12-bolt rear end that came in it. It'll be good enough for what Gerald's going to do, and not going to break the bank and all that. And speaking of that, this is the original bumper off of Gerald's truck. We just got it back from the metal guys. It was rusted all right here, and then it had holes, you can see where they filled them and welded them up. So I had them weld those up, left one in case he wants to pull anything with it. But you can see Hoff Power Chevrolet in Lampasas, Texas. So this truck will be a 4.6 drop. You know, instead of your typical chrome bumper in the back, we kind of wanted to give a throwback because his dad actually bought this truck brand new at this dealership. And it needs a little bit of body work, stuff like that. So I was going to get it powder coated, but I think I'm going to have it repaired, you know, have all that filled nice. And then we're going to paint it silver, paint it black where it needs to be black, and have it clear coated. I think that'll be a better job and better looking and hold up better, maybe than the powder coating will, but we'll see. We'll have to get the backside done, but yeah, that's going to be a cool piece and part of the truck once it's going back together and finished. But this is a 79 K5. I'm going to switch gears real quick. Pretty cool truck. He's had this thing 4 or 5 years. It's been sitting on a lift. He put a 2-inch on it with 33s. Just looks really good. This two-tone's great. Did a little floor work to it. This is a Cheyenne, if you didn't see the back there. Just polished it up. Had the white repainted. It's not without its rust. It's got a little bit right there, but it has all floors put in it. It's an all-spring lift, not blocks. But got new carpet. The seats have been redone. There's some brand new exhaust I need to stick under it. I redid a cluster for him of like 2 years ago. We got a stick in it. New door panels. I got some wing windows we're going to stick in it. So once I kind of get rolling on this, it'll. But this is a factory 400 K5, and it still has the 400 in it. So the hood's been beat up a little bit. You know, how much money do you want to put into it before you know, what you ask for it isn't exactly, you know, you kind of got to have a medium there. I told him we should get a white hood and put some stripes on it. I think that would be great looking, but we might leave it just the way it is and go from there. But yeah, so look for more videos on this one once we kind of start on it. I've done a little bit to it, but mainly I've been working on this one. This is Aubrey Evans' truck. This truck you might have seen on past videos or on our social media. This truck was her dad's truck. She drove it in high school. Then her dad sold it, and then the guy parted it out, and then she ended up finding the truck, bought it back, got a hold of us like a year ago, and we've had it for 4 months or so. But we bought a Suburban. This is a 350 700 R4 208. This was a 350 400 203 truck originally. This is a 1979 also. So this red and that red are actually the same red. It just doesn't look like it because this thing's been sitting outside. You can see where I polished actually on it right there because I put new seals, some good wing windows and whatnot in it. Got our door panels all cleaned up. So both doors are done. Today I came in and we got the motors and we got the drivetrain stuck in it last week. Today I came in and stuck the exhaust under it, which this exhaust came from the same Suburban that the drivetrain came from. It was still really nice, and it actually bolted right up. Got a little finessing to do. And then the cross member I've got bolted to the transfer case and one bolt in, but I got to drill 3 more holes in the frame just because it's in a different place than that Suburban was. Not a big deal. Drill some holes, finish bolting it up, get the drive shaft stuck in it, and then we'll finish kind of putting it together. Get the rear support on it, fenders hung. I got to go get the hood still. So, a buddy of mine that manages a body shop here at a dealership here in town, those are just cheap LMC fenders. I had some red left over from a truck I had this color, and they just shot them. That's just single stage. And I was hoping to have it done this past week, started up at least, but happened to go get a that 51 and then that truck, it just didn't work out. But that's fine. We got a lot done today. That's why I'm here on a Sunday, and I hadn't done a video yet, so I thought maybe I would throw one out there to kind of show you guys what's going on in the shop. Just a lot of irons in the fire, and strategically just doing them. But excited to get this one back to Aubrey and Russell so they can enjoy it. It needs a bed. It needs, it needs some work, but at least they'll be able to enjoy it, and it's not just sitting in the field like it was when we went and got it. So a lot of people ask why I painted the motor blue. This was orange. This is actually a 75 350 that was rebuilt like 10,000 miles ago. And the reason I painted it blue, because that's GM corporate blue that they came out in about late 76. Changed the motors from orange to blue until about 81, 82, and when they just started doing them black. So I want it to look right. And while not everything's all restored, when you pop the hood, it'll just look pretty nice. And then my buddy Mike Bull rebuilt the carburetor for us. Had to put a new balancer on it, new motor mounts, all that good stuff that goes along with it. But yeah, it'll look great. Should sound good. It's got dual exhaust with some glass packs, so it'll sound like she remembers. Got some sheet metal we gotta put in it just to kind of get it by. I don't do body work, but I know enough to be dangerous, so we'll get that stuck in there, and hopefully this time next week it'll have the front end on it and be ready to get back to Aubrey. And then if anybody remembers this 80 K10, I bought this like a year and a half ago from a guy, and then I sold it a year ago, and he never came and picked it up. So I literally just sent him his money back last week, along with the steering column that my brother had restored for him. So it used to sit where that 51 sits now, and took it to the car wash, power washed it, got everything out because it had been sitting forever. And I think we're going to build that truck. Not right away, but I think we're going to build it. So short bed, 4-wheel drive, 1980. I might have done a walk around on this one, I don't know. But this thing was gray with a black insert and white and gray interior from the factory with rally wheels. But that was a looker. Still has really nice Silverado emblems on it. So, but I wanted it sitting inside, out of the elements. And the 51, actually, I'm going to do that too. So I'm going to move some of Gerald's body stuff, and I'm going to stick that 51 like this. Unless somebody offers me some money for the 51 and I just can't refuse, then I'll sell it, but it'll sit right there. And then here's the 6-liter for Gerald's truck, 4L80E. We got all the harness, the gas pedal, all that good stuff. This has only got 70,000 miles on it. Just a good, you know, economical engine to do our what we're doing for that truck. And there's the rear seat, front seats for this K5. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place. Just trying to show everybody what's going on. I know people like to see what we do. I am a one-man band, other than my boy and my wife helping me once in a while. But and of course Chase, he's helping, but I'm also helping him with his truck. But all right, well, I appreciate everybody. Please like, share, subscribe. If you ever need any parts, we do have a ton of parts available. You can go to our website. I don't have a ton on there right now. I need to get busy starting to post them, but I've really been concentrating on this, bringing some inventory in, you know, just trying to, still being a dad and a husband and taking my kid riding, whatnot. So happy Sunday. Go Chiefs. That game's about ready to start, I think. And we will see you on the next one.